PPR start 10. Are you going Jalen Waddle or Brandon Ayuk and a 24 first?
I'm taking the side with the leverage, sir. Give me the package.
So that's the buzzword today. It's not hammers. It's not squirt. It's going to be leverage. So yeah, I'm also going to take the leverage here, assuming that I took a look at that team and I have a pretty good idea or hope that that's going to be at worst a mid 2024 first.
Yeah, so let's start off the show by kind of defining leverage. Scott, a lot of folks listen to your DD podcast on leverage recently, and you actually are Dynasty Leverage on Twitter, right? Still, talk to me about leverage. Talk to me about that trade in particular. Jalen Waddle, Ayuk, 24 first. Where's the leverage? What is leverage? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not Dynasty Leverage on Twitter, but I did go by that mantra for a while. This is the exact reason why, because as the Dynasty player, the average Dynasty player becomes sharper, smarter, more intelligent. They're playing this with a process or a plan. When I first started playing Dynasty back in 2014, it was the wild, wild west. There was very little information, and I wasn't even one of the first players. People had already been playing for a couple years before I even got into it, and there was not a lot of information. It was like you did your own scouting. You had to dig through. Twitter was around back then, but it was nothing like it is today. But you had to go and find your own Dynasty information. There wasn't 25 Dynasty websites and 1,000 podcasts and YouTube channels. Like now, if you just type in Dynasty Fantasy Football, you'll have 100 things right at your doorstep to try and see what you like, see who's good, see who's not. But what it's creating is it's creating a much smarter casual player. Now, people might go, oh, man, I'm in a lot of leagues with people that have no clue what they're doing. They don't have a process. They just trade for their favorite players. Like that does exist, right? People still have home leagues. People still have leagues that they find on Reddit. And it's just people that are just willy-nilly playing. But I think what I've started to notice is even some of those casual leagues, the information they're getting is easier to find. There's more information. They're just evolving faster. So now the edge anymore isn't, I have more information than you. I can pick players better than you. I know something before you know it happened. I'm going to be able to pull, the wool over your head on this trade or that trade, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what to do here, but you know what? There's 5 places I can go ask for free and no one knows that I'm actually asking to get an answer. And you get someone like Shane or I that's like, yeah, no, that's a bad move. Don't do that trade. Okay, well, you're just going to decline it. Now, you may not give me a reason why you declined it. You may just decline it, but I'm still not able to get that done like maybe I was 3 or 4 years ago. So what's the next edge? And that's all leverage is looking for the next edge. And it's still taking advantage of partially biases that people have on players, draft classes, that kind of stuff. But really it's just using data, and it's using data to your advantage because we know kind of how the landscape of the current NFL is playing out. We kind of know where positions flatten off. Then we can match that up with where values flatten off on players and where can you exploit that. That is where leverage was born. And that's where it still continues. So we'll talk a lot of trades tonight, but that's essentially what it is trying to find an edge where there isn't an edge in information or picking players any better. Everyone in your league, if they have all the same information, where do you find the edge? And leverage is one of those spots.
So tell me this, what is Jalen Waddle ranked wide receiver wise in Dynasty right now? Is he six-ish?
I believe KTC is wide receiver 6. Yes.
What's Ayuk?
Outside the top 24, but I think he's right in that range. But I think 25, maybe. I have to look it up specifically. No, Pickens is 25. I don't have it pulled up, but it's in the mid 20s ish.
Real quick, I object to the use of KTC for any rankings after some of the trades that I've seen screenshots people have shared that KTC said were fair.
Okay, we'll get back to that. What I was getting to was, I guess, Jalen Waddle. Obviously, the community values him, way higher than Brandon Ayuk. Where's the leverage? So you're getting the 24 first in Brandon Ayuk, but what is the delta in terms of points per game scored? How many fantasy points are you giving away by moving from Waddle to Ayuk, and how do you make up that difference?
So essentially what it comes down to is you're just making a bet. Jalen Waddle is probably higher in the wide receiver rankings than you're betting that he's going to end up finishing. Is he better than Brandon Ayuk? Yes. There's a very good chance he's better than Brandon Ayuk. And I'm talking points per game here. We're not talking about an injury happens, he plays less games, he scores less points. No. But at wide receiver 6, and if you go back and listen to some of the first Destination Dynasty pods, I talked about this. Historical wide receiver production. Where are the flat spots? Historically, it's right around like wide receiver 8 or 9. It starts to flatten off, and then it flattens off all the way to wide receiver 20, 22-ish. These are just real rough estimates. But that's saying basically all wide receiver 2s are essentially very similar from either a points per game standpoint or a warp standpoint, whatever you want to look. Go look at some warp charts that we've put out over on DD, and it's very much the same. So what are you doing here? All you're doing is you're taking a player that is outside of that range and a player that is above that range and betting that both of them find their way into the middle somewhere. So say Jalen Waddle is wide receiver 6, Brandon Ayuk is wide receiver 27. All I am betting is that Waddle ends up finishing, and if he finishes wide receiver 15, what's his value going to do? It's not going to stay at wide receiver 6. We're going to slowly go, probably shouldn't be in the top 5 or 6. He's probably wide receiver 9 or 10 or 11, right? So it's going to correlate with him moving down in value a little bit. But all I'm betting is that he produces a little below where he's ranked. If he's wide receiver 15 and Brandon Ayuk, who's currently 27 in KTC, finishes wide receiver 22, the difference is not a first round pick. And that's the essential goal of the leverage trade. Is I'm giving up maybe 1.5, 2 points per game, but from like a impact standpoint or like a warp standpoint on my team, it doesn't matter. My wide receiver 3/flex is not determining whether I win a season long league. Certainly in a weekly game, it could, right. But man, if I can hit on that and I end up with 2 receiver, like I would say, Shane, both of those guys are what? Wide receiver 2s. Which side would you take? The one where I'm getting the free first round pick. Now, where can't you make a trade like that? You probably can't go from QB 8 or QB 12 to QB 6, right? Like no one is even making that type of deal. But what can help you get there? Well, a free first round pick when I'm making a bet against 2 receivers like this can help with a bigger deal. So that's why you're trying to accumulate the leverage at this time. That's the easiest way to explain it. And that was a very good example of those 2 players that are on the perfect spots to do it.
Yeah, so we'll get into a million trades tonight, I'm sure. Welcome. It's we got 277 people in here, our usual Tuesday night crew. Everybody's looking glorious out there. One question I have though, Scott, is so these 24 firsts, after you make that trade, let's say it actually goes through. We have trouble getting those leverage trades done, but after that goes through, then what are you doing with that 24 first? You don't like spending your first and tiering up. What are you going to do with that 24 first? Are you going to split that asset again down the road? What next after that trade?
Okay, so the optimal time to make leverage deals is when you don't have enough assets on your team. You look at your tight end and you go, man, I don't have an elite tight end. You look at your second quarterback. Oh, man, it's Kirk Cousins. It's okay, but I wish I could have another quarterback in the range of Kirk Cousins or an upgrade, and Kirk Cousins is my QB3. So I think it's really trying to get to that quote unquote optimal roster construction where I have the quarterback build that I want. I have the tight end room that I want. I have enough running backs to cover myself year to year. And we'll talk about that more. Running backs are literally becoming a year-to-year proposition. You see these contracts the running backs are getting, it doesn't even matter anymore. They're less than 5% of the running backs in the NFL where I go, man, I trust that guy past 2023. Everyone else is like, man, everybody is at risk. So we can almost throw running backs out and just say, I think in 2-3 years, the masses are going to be playing 0 RB. I don't care about running back. I'm never going to pay up for a running back again. If I get Breece Hall in the rookie draft, I'll just ride him out. But I'm never drafting a running back going, man, I'm going to flip him for a profit in 2 months. Like that, I don't think that's the future of Dynasty. So I think it comes down to, I'm probably using my first. Can I upgrade at quarterback? How do I go buy a Justin Herbert? I'm probably not doing it with the players on my team. I probably have to be in the position where I go, okay, I can throw 3 firsts plus another quarterback to go make that move. It's one of those big splurge moves, but you can't do that unless you find the dead spots or the flat spots to make these bets. So that's what the leverage is all about. It is about using it somewhere else. If I have the perfect build around the rest of my roster, elite QBs, elite tight end, a bunch of running back depth, guess what I probably don't do? I'm not as eager to go just move that Jalen Waddle, to go, move
Sure.
that T Higgins. Like that would be the time where I go, hey, I already have a good receiver here. I don't need to make the leverage deal. But for most people, 95% of rosters, trust me, you can use an extra first to throw around for another deal later.
Shane, any thoughts, man?
I don't know. Where you want me to jump in?
I know. We're hogging this one. We're hogging this one. No, let's put up a trade here. So Joe R. This one I think was starred really early. Yeah, 1:35 p.m. After we created this stream, he jumped in there and threw this. So I started. 12 team Superflex, start 10, half PPR, give the 102 and Jordan Love, get the 101 and 305. Have Mahomes and T-Law at QB, only Rashad White at running back. What do you think?
I'll let Shane talk. I've done most of the talking. I know what I think about this deal, though.
I mean, you talk about all leverage all you want, but I still want to win a league, so I'm getting Bijan. You can have the 102. You can have Jordan Love, who, I mean, his upside is probably a QB 12, like top 12 QB, maybe. But I know Bijan's upside is like running back one, like difference-making running back one, not like one of those Fugazi 19-point a game running back ones, like a 30-point a game running back one.
I do agree with Shane here. Normally, I'm like Mr. Horde quarterbacks, but one of the leverage moves that I talked about in that show the other day was if I have a QB3 that has more than kind of like baseline or minimum quarterback value, I'm okay using it to go buy something else. That's essentially what you're doing here, right? You're pivoting off of Jordan Love. You still need a QB3, but why can't you go buy Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, someone like that? You could probably buy one of those guys for a second, and you can still hit the roster construction you want, but you've used that value of Jordan Love here to move from the 102 to the 101. So I like that because that fits your team.
Here's a beautiful thing about trading players like Jordan Love, too. It's all profit. Like, no one paid the 104 for Jordan Love in any league, anywhere, ever in their lifetime. At least I hope they didn't. At most, even in Superflex drafts, when he was a rookie, you were still getting him in the second round because no one knew what the hell he was. And after Aaron Rodgers' first year, you were getting him as a throw-in because we never thought he was going to play again. After Aaron Rodgers' second year, you might have had to pay a second only because then Aaron Rodgers started talking about being on shrooms and not wanting to play football. And we knew this day was going to come. But it's all profit, really.
So considering it's all profit, Shane, 111 or Jordan Love in the Superflex?
Well, we've already been going through our board, so we know who's not going to be there. So I'll probably take Jordan Love there. And this, my thinking is what's going to increase in value more, the 111 or Jordan Love. Well, it's going to be a quarterback in Superflex. And if he craps out, well, I lost the 111. So that's fine. I'm fine with crapping out on that.
And to Shane's point, what did we talk about earlier with Brandon Ayuk, right? This is probably why a lot of times we talk about those late firsts. Shane, what are you most likely to get at the 111? What's probably going to be the best player available, barring that there isn't a running back that you love there? What position?
Wide receiver.
Right. And I think with this class, you're probably drafting yourself right into the Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Jeudy range, which is good, but it also isn't one of those super high leverage ranges where you go, man, I'm going to be able to flip this after one good game. There's a reason that, let's say it's Zay Flowers. There's a reason he's going to probably debut in the ADP at like wide receiver 30 or wide receiver 35, not wide receiver 10, like Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's a difference, and it's not how good they're going to be. It's literally what is the asset worth. And that's one of the reasons why if you could get a quarterback for one of those picks, I don't hate it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's if they go out and have the same exact rookie season, JSN's still going to hold more value than him. So it's like he does have to exceed him above and beyond with the wide receivers.
Well, and what if JSN has a slightly worse rookie season than Zay Flowers? JSN will still have more. As long as he wasn't terrible, there's still going to be some bias with these receivers in this class, right? Like it doesn't matter unless they're just out of this world good. If they're just decent, it feels like there's going to be a bunch of Jahan Dotsons in this year's class,
right? Which
is fine. But what is Jahan Dotson right now? If I told you Zay Flowers would give you Jahan Dotson's rookie year, you'd probably say that's a decent pick, right?
Yeah.
Yet How much clout does he have if he's being used in a trade? Not much.
Yeah. I mean, Jahan Dotsons are great for, and this is what I'll be trying to do with Zay Flowers in the middle of next year. Like, as soon as he pops, I'm like, all right, who can I add him to then tier up? You know what I mean? Who can I then add another wide receiver 3 to and go, all right, I just got a legitimate wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 from. Like last year, my favorite move was Jahan Dotson and I think George Pickens or something like that for T. Higgins. Because people are getting horny over the upside of those 2 wide receivers, but the range of outcomes probably is a lot lower for them.
So this one from Jason, he said the thumbnail made him post. Thank you for the super chat, man. Just sent Chase for Ayuk 105 mid 24 first. This is a 12-team Superflex start 11. And then also Brees for London and Pollard. So what do you think about that first one? Just sent Chase for Ayuk 105 and a mid 24 first.
I mean, it's start 11, so the value's fine. So this is my only problem, right? You make too many of these trades, and then the next thing you know, you go, wait, so how do I consolidate all these picks so I can go get a Jamar Chase? And you're like, wait a minute, I'm working backwards. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if your roster's barren, I completely understand it. I'd rather just do the Brees for London and Pollard trade, at least splitting him in the start 11. But it's a good value trade. I mean, you're getting the 105, which is going to be Will Levi's, whatever his name is. Maybe you could trade out and a 24 first, except just remember that 24 first, you just added to Jamar Chase to that roster. So that roster's probably going to be a little better.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good example of if you just take some process rules, right? What do we always say with Chase or Jefferson? 3 firsts, you're in the ballpark. Now, if it's a start 9 and my team is stacked, do I really have an incentive to say, hey, give me an extra first back? No, but it's a start 11. I'm guessing he had a method behind why he wanted to split these 2 assets. But the end result is he has probably 5 starters and a lot more flexibility. And even if some of the guys he got back aren't as good as the guys he traded away, if he's got a plan with what he wants to do with those assets, he has a better shot now of going and getting a difference maker at a more meaningful position per se than what he just traded away, especially the Brees deal. I love that deal. That's a great.
Yeah. Brees for Drake London and Tony Pollard.
And the 105 and the 24 first, you're like, all right, let me just go upgrade at quarterback.
And I think just real quick on the Brees part, one of the reasons that it is such a good deal is because this is why I'm so adamant about roster construction at running back. If you have a roster where you're looking at Brees Hall and you're like, Brees Hall is my hero RB, and I really don't have a good RB2. My next RB2 up is, I don't know, the insert any RB3 that you're like, I'm not really sure what their role is going to be, right? The beauty of that trade, and how many times have we talked about this on past shows? The beauty of that trade is, guess what? He's starting Tony Pollard every week.
Yeah.
Where you don't want to make that trade is like, okay, I'm trading from a strength, but now I'm trading and I'm getting back, let's say, David Montgomery or Jamal Williams, right? But then they're now my RB4 and I'm not starting them every week. If you're not starting them in a lineup league, you're better off just backfilling with bodies. But if you're going to get a guy like Jamal Williams, you want to have him in your lineup every week. You want to assume that you're going to ride the ups and downs and you're not going to chase them. Because when you chase them is when you really get burned. Because guess what? You miss out on all the good weeks. And you probably get a bunch of dud weeks too, because you're playing them after a big week, and then typically it's going to not hit at the right time. So the best part about that is he goes, yeah, I can just start Tony Pollard.
Well, he should immediately go trade Tony Pollard, because there's about 1,000% chance that the Dallas Cowboys are going to draft either Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs, knowing their DNA.
Sure,
but yeah.
Wasn't there something today too about Rojo's talking to Dallas?
He signed.
He signed with Dallas, but
he signed with Dallas.
If this was 3 years ago, I'd still be on that train. But I think it's okay. It's time to put a shotgun to Rojo's fantasy value and just end it. It's not going to happen.
Any RB on a 53, Shane?
Yeah, I've tried that with Rojo for the last 4 years. Hasn't worked out for me.
I love me some Rojo. He's good at football. He's going to get a shot. Anthony, thank you for the super chat, man. 10-team Superflex PPR start 11. And I could see down at the bottom, it's hashtag pay to brag. Lamar, T-Law, Russ, Brees, Jamal Williams, Foreman, Penny, Kamara, Diggs, Godwin, Ayuk, DJ Moore, no tight end. He's got the 101, 209, 210, 224 first, and a second. Any moves I should look to make? Hashtag pay to brag. Love y'all.
I'm going to go. Here's one that's really, I don't know if you guys see this one coming. At that 101, I'd be drafting Bijan. Yeah. I mean, really, you should be looking to see if you could. It's start 11. Really, you should be looking to see if you can split that into multiple pieces. The problem is as someone that has 101 in multiple leagues and has tried to trade it for literally any decent package, people are really stingy. They're not trying to give up much for that 101. They're trying to get it at discount. So you might be in a position where you're just forced to draft Bijan.
So looking at a roster like this, what do you guys think about Foreman and Penny and Jamal Williams? Are you looking to move any of those, like liquidate them for, if you can get a second for Foreman, he's gone?
I trade any one of those dudes for a second.
And Rashad Penny, would you do that? Would you try to do that with two of them, or you like to have and hold those guys?
It's tough because this is only effectively a start 9 if it was a 12 team, right? Equivalent, because it's basically a 10 team start 11. So it's equivalent to a 12 team start 9. So when you think 12 team start 9, it's definitely you take Bijan because that's a clear positional advantage shot in a start 9. But then I kind of look at the rest of the running backs and I go, it's almost exactly where I would want to backfill them. Now, your point about trading one or two of them away is just for the liquidation, right? But I'm guessing, what is he going to do when he gets that extra second? This is probably one of those where you need to know your league because he's sitting on the 2.9, the 2.10. I don't know if he has any more picks after 2024, but he's already got 3 seconds. And I think you both would agree that in a start 9, the seconds are automatic, just pieces you're trying to move around for other roster construction stuff. You know, you're not looking at necessarily taking players. If anything, what would you do with those seconds this year? Try to draft another Foreman and Jamal Williams. You know, you're just trying to hit on your depth at running back. So just figure out what your plan is. If it's a league where, and I hate to say this, but, you know, some fish is going to give you a first for 3 seconds or something like that, then you take the extra second, you know, liquidate one of those. But if not, then...
Look, and people will do that because even in our patron chats, I've seen people ask like, hey, should I trade this 108 for the 205, 209, and 212? I'm like, no, you should not. Not again, unless it's like start 13. But no, don't do that. Stop that.
Stop that.
Those are not fish in our patrons.
Scott's thinking to himself like, is that a good process? Should I be taking those 3 seconds? Okay, let's move to Eddie here. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for the super chat, Eddie. He answered my Twitter DM this past weekend. 14 team Superflex sent the 104, 112, and 114 for Lamar. Nicely done. Still have the 101 and 102 as well as Fields and Kyler at QB. I'm looking to take Bijan to finish my RB room with Ramondre, then move the 102 for a wide receiver. Should I keep all 3 QBs for positional advantage or tier down for extra assets? Well, you're going to get one answer from one person. And
so here's the problem. Like, yeah, I'm not moving off of Lamar and Fields, but I can't move Kyler right now because the market on Kyler is he's awful and he doesn't play any football games. Like that's literally the market on him. Like, and every chat is just like, he's terrible. He sucks. And I'm like, he was the QB8 last year. Like the dude's never finished worse than like QB8 in points per game, but all of a sudden he's ass. So there's not a good market for him. You know, if I could trade him for Justin Jefferson, cool. But I don't think you can. That's the problem.
So, yeah, his QB room is nice with Lamar now. Like he's got his 2 starters. You can justify Kyler at QB3 until his value goes up a little bit. Now, part of the leverage show that I talked about the other day is, again, taking your QB3 and down tiering and picking up assets on top of it. The other issue he has is he also has the 102. He says he's trading the 102 for a receiver. Quite frankly, in a 14-team Superflex, the 102 is Chase or Jefferson. Right? Like that's essentially what it should be worth. You're getting the QB1 in the class in a 14-team startup. I mean, where would that 102 go? First round, right? There would be someone that might even take it over Chase or Jefferson because it's a quarterback. It's scarce. So really, what does the tier down look like at the 102? Because there's not really any receivers I'm accepting straight up unless I'm getting a 2-for-1. You know, can I get the AJ Brown and a first? Can I get something like that's probably what I'm aiming. I'm not getting that deal, but I think that's what it should be worth. So he has this weird problem where he's sitting in the prime spot to draft the QB1.
Yep.
But he's not going to probably want to draft the QB1 given that he already has 3 top 10 quarterbacks. So you got to just try to extract value out of something there, either Kyler or the 102.
Okay, let's move. Let's unstar that one here.
Mute.
Are you saying? Yeah, you're on mute. What's
Sorry.
going on, buddy?
Just going back to that 101, as if directly on cue. Offer I just got was Travis Etienne in the 106 to give up the 101 and the 210. And I mean, and honestly, that's one of the better offers I've gotten for the 101. I wouldn't take that, not in my lifetime, maybe someone else's lifetime, but just so you know, that's basically like what you're going to be forced to draft Bijan. Someone in the chat said take Anthony Richardson. I'm not taking Anthony Richardson 101.
I mean, the funny thing is that they asked for the 210 back, so it just shows you they're scared to give up. Hey, I'm going to go on a 30-second rant here. That offer right there, the fact that it's ETN in the 106 for the 101, but they throw that 210 in there, that just speaks to the dynasty market right now that is scared of paying an anti-leverage trade for a running back. I don't care if it's Bijan Robinson, Jim Brown in his prime, whatever. The dynasty community is that person probably hesitated making that offer, Shane, and then they got scared and go, man, I got to ask for that.
I need more back.
I need that 210 back because I don't want to be the sucker in the room that gave up ETN, and in 6 months, ETN could be smashing Bijan, and I look like the idiot because I gave you the free pick. It's just interesting. Very interesting.
This one's funny. I'll throw this up here. So excited to fire off these trades that no one will accept because they've seen the same show as me. I got a leverage trade in my inbox earlier today, and I looked at the username on Sleeper, and I was like, wait, are you one of the ones who said you watched our show? And he's like, yep, that's me. He sent me, one of those Ayuk at a 24 first trades. I was like, that's not gonna move we'll do, but it is funny. All right, coffee and kicks. Let's move this one here. Let's go to another super chat. And we're going to turn those off here shortly. So if you want to get a super chat in, go for it or forever hold your peace. Davis Daniels, thank you very much. Very generous, sir. Appreciate you. 1 of 2, 14-team Superflex start 10. Asked this question to Shane via Twitter, but I'm still wrestling with it and want to get all of your guys' input. Give Chubb and Jerome Ford get the 206, 304, 24 second, 25 second. Other running backs are Bijan, Brees, Saquon, Derrick Henry. Just wanted to see your thoughts on turning Chubb into multiple seconds. Shane said to get a pick and a wide receiver, but I'm set on wide receiver with Hill, Diggs, Garrett Wilson, London, Ridley, Amon-Ra.
Then don't trade him. Not for that back.
I wouldn't trade Chubb away for this.
I mean, the move here this is what I talked about on the show the other day. The move here is you don't try to trade Nick Chubb. You try to trade Brees Hall. Because again, my roster construction says here, man, I'm really over leveraged at running back, right? I got Brees, I got Bijan, I got Chubb. I probably have the ability to add a bunch more bodies if people are throwing around a bunch of picks like this. So instead of going, man, I really want to trade that Nick Chubb because he's 27 years old and hopefully someone else takes him and I'll just dominate the league with Bijan and Brees Hall. The difference here is you throw Nick Chubb out there and it's like crickets. No one's given even a first. I'll make the offer like this guy did. Let me throw every second I own for the next 3 years and that 304 your way and see if you take it. And I can just go, that's the best offer you're going to get, Mr. Daniels. If you don't like it, decline it. Put Brees Hall on the board. Now you might be actually getting a leverage trade and you go, okay, I'll pivot off of Brees Hall because I can actually get the leverage because of the demand on Brees Hall and I'll ride with Nick Chubb.
Look, and at some point, you just have to go, what the production, when you're a good team, the production is going to be worth more to me than getting multiple seconds. Does this mean that I'm going to get nothing for Nick Chubb next year? Probably. Well, based on that offer, that same person will offer you nothing. But I bet you in season his value will pick up. But even if it doesn't, like you're better off just riding Nick Chubb out than giving them up for some random seconds that are split up between 3 years at that. It's not even like one class that you can dominate and then kind of just like Scott's been using today, leverage the draft board against other people.
Yeah, and I want to say this super team, I'm either getting this wrong, but I wonder if he's made a move for another QB yet, because the team is ridiculous, but then he has Herbert, and then like that's it at QB. He's got some like meh QB2 and QB3. I wonder if he's tried to package a ton of stuff together to get a second elite guy. Let us know on that, Davis. You also gave us another $5. Thank you again. Also, 12-team Superflex Start 10 startup draft coming up on Sunday. Have the 101. Give the 101, 1501, 1901. Get the 204, 309, 404, 804, rookie 104, and a 24 first.
Oh,
I mean, at first,
is that enough for you? Because normally we like to trade back.
Normally, I like trading
trading
up, but I'm getting 2 firsts added to it. So at the 104, like, yeah,
and you're giving up a 15 and 19.
Jesus Christ, Christmas. Sorry. Yeah, I'm moving up 12 rounds and then 15 rounds, and I'm getting a free 8th and 2 rookie firsts.
It's one of those ones where you hit accept and you're like, I'll figure it out.
I'll figure out QB later. Yeah, I will figure out QB later. I'll figure it out.
Listen, judging by the generosity of Mr. Daniels' super chats every week, I'm pretty sure he can probably take this league and go, you know what? I'm just going to go different in this league. And I'm just going to accept this trade. And maybe Deshaun Watson falls to me at the 204, or maybe it gets to 111, 112, and someone still hasn't taken Lamar Jackson, and I can trade up a couple spots and throw a startup pick round bump to somebody, and they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you might be able to still roster construct in an optimal way. But yeah, I think this is one of those, if you really just want to have fun, like it's going to be fun dealing with all those assets that you had. I mean, you put yourself way ahead of the game for someone just to take, I assume, Mahomes.
Yeah. Do it.
Get in the hall there. Get in the hall there. Oh, this was the guy. David sent me the trade after listening to your podcast today. He's like king something or another on Sleeper. Well, you gave it a shot. Shooter's going to shoot is what I said.
You rejected it. You should have accepted it. That's his 24 first and Marquise Brown.
No, I was giving Marquise Brown the 24 first.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so let's go to another one here. This is just Joseph saying thank you. You guys are great, and Shane has helped me numerous times. Thank you all. You deserve good pay. When I make more, I'll continue to support you all. Appreciate that.
I appreciate y'all. As soon as we get to figure out Clay to LLC this and get some health insurance, I'm going to quit my job and do this for a full time.
It's LLC'd, but I don't know about the whole health insurance thing. I wouldn't hold your breath there.
Get us some health insurance, damn it. Snap or something. I don't care.
No, seriously, I think we're building like a cool community here on Dynasty Trades in 5. So we appreciate the community. These super chats are kick ass. They go right back into the channel, but appreciate you all. That's my sappy thank you. We have 400 people in the audience. So they've all hit the like. We've got 2 likes on Facebook. Thank you very much. Let's keep moving on here. Okay. Chemo 84. Have Mahomes, Lance, Purdy, 102, 103, 107, 108. Been offered Lamar for my 103 and 108. Thoughts? I'm okay at wide receiver and running back. Not elite, just okay. Hawk as my tight end.
No.
Wait, you're turning down Lamar?
No, he's been offered Lamar for my 103 and 108. So yeah, I'm going to take Lamar.
You're taking Lamar.
I was like, wait a second. No, it is weird with been offered for my.
But it screwed me up. I thought he was okay. So he's acquiring Lamar here.
Yes.
And Chemo, I don't mean to offend you in any way. I apologize if I did. But yeah, I'll take Lamar here. Although I will say this: if your roster, we don't know how many start this is, right? Say this is a start 11. And my roster's pretty bad outside of Mahomes. I could see going 103 and going, you know what? I'm going to take my shot on Bryce Young here or CJ Stroud. And then the 108, can I use that in the 107 to move back up into like the 104 range and just add a couple, like Jahmyr Gibbs, JSN, and I don't know, whoever's at 102.
I'm taking Lamar because it gets me right to the build that I want to get to. Now I have the option to either take a bet on Lance or Brock Purdy, but it gives me 4 quarterbacks potentially. Not that 4 are going to be starting, but I have 4 that hold some semblance of value here. And plus here, we get a lot of questions like this, and it's should I make a move? When you have 2 other firsts in the same range, it's much easier to make this move because you're still in this draft. You still have some flexibility with the 102. If you really wanted to say, okay, I'm trading Trey Lance and I'm trading Brock Purdy and then I'm drafting a QB at 102, perfect. But you have a lot of flexibility. It's not like you're giving away all your picks for one outcome. So I like it. Great price on Lamar.
And I will say this, look, I get a little starry-eyed right about this time of year for rookies. Like, they're all going to hit, but, let's just go through them. Like, there's been Baker Mayfield. There's been Royce Freeman's. There's been N'Keal Harris. Like, these are all guys at one point or another, people are like, I don't know. He's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. He's going to be fine. And then they weren't. So paying for the security that you already have in Lamar, nothing left to do.
Okay, so let's go to these. I want to knock these out too because these are, and then we're going to get to as many as we can in the crowd. But these were people who bought coffees last week and didn't get their questions answered. So I want to make sure we hit them. Okay,
yeah, and I just want the crowd to know that Clay purposely didn't answer them. I asked him to, and he said no.
That's fake news.
I
don't even know what you're talking about. No, so yeah, people are like, what's Buy Me a Coffee? I set it up as like a donation site for us, to support the channel. And yeah, people are using it as another way to super chat, including their entire roster and giving notes. But no, thank you for all the support. Appreciate it. And 2 of these guys are league mates. It's pretty cool. Jared and Ryan. Okay, let's start with Jared. 1 of 3, Superflex PPR, tight end premium, start 11. Quarterbacks are Burrow, Watson, Howell. Running backs are Connor, Monty. Wide receivers, Olave, Burks, Hollywood, Boyd, Zay Jones, Alec Pierce. Tight ends, and Joke. I think that was very on purpose. Hurst and Higbee. I have the 102, 104, 110, 202, 306, and some fourths. Have all my 24s plus an extra second. Our other league mate has the 103 and 105 and needs a QB, but he's a wide receiver whore. Do I get cute and take JSN at the 102 and then take whoever's left between Stroud and Young? Or do I call his bluff and see if I come away with Stroud and Young? He wants Young and JSN at his 102 and 104. Okay, so to bring that all back, basically, let's start with this. Should he get cute and take JSN at 102?
I'm going to say no.
He's got this whorish wide receiver whore in his, league.
We're all wide receiver whores, I think, at heart, right? Some of us are running back sluts secretly. But most of us know in a super flex when we need a quarterback and there's a quarterback staring in front of us at 102 that we have to go quarterback. Like, no matter how slutty we want to get for a wide receiver, we want to spread it or not, we're going to take the quarterback. That's generally what's going to happen. So I don't want to get cute and risk it.
I mean, the real interesting move would be, and this is just part of me maybe being a little spiteful sometimes, is obviously this player behind him is picking behind him at each slot, right? He has the 102. This guy has the 103. He has the 104. This guy has the 105. And the real savvy move would be to go to this manager and say, okay, you willing to work out a deal, trade up a spot. Either one of the spots would be fine because it gives the other guy at least the choice of, okay, if I have the 103 and the 104, I need a quarterback. I can take 2 quarterbacks and I get the top 2. Like, I'm not risking you making the choice for me, basically. But really, you could, if he really, really needs a quarterback, like, your league, is it going to be hard for this guy to get a quarterback? I try to make a trade with him, a fair trade that gives you some sort of leverage. Like, I would almost swap picks with him. I'll give him the 2 and the 4, and he gives me the 3 and the 5 if I can get something else useful. Because I think I'm in a good spot regardless, But if he's
what would that have to be? What would that have to be? Let's think about that.
Well, you could go really extreme and
do
say
a
okay,
second first swap in 24 or something like that. Would that do it?
Or you could say I'll go from the 102 to the 105, knowing that I have the 104. and I'm still going to be able to get a quarterback or 2 quarterbacks and a running back, or a quarterback and a running back. Like, I'm in within the top 5, both of my picks. What will he give me to move back 3 spots? Will he give me a first? Will he give me a first and a second swap? Like, is there a way I can get a third prime piece into that trade? If it's just no, I'm not trading with you, you go ahead and pick, you're stuck, I'd take a quarterback.
Okay.
Mr. I need a quarterback at 103. Let's see what he does. If he goes JSN because he's a wide receiver whore, guess what I do at 104?
So this is his league mate, Ryan. And this is funny because he's got 4 of the other first in this first round. So, I mean, clearly they know that they're, both asking questions on Buy Me a Coffee. It was like right next to one another. Surely they could work something out, right? Ryan, 1 of 2 without colluding. 12-team Superflex PPR, tight end premium start 11. Quarterbacks are Herbert, Geno, Jimmy G. Running backs are Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. Wide receivers DK, Mike Evans, J-Mo, Palmer, Dubs. Mark Andrews at tight end. And Ryan's got the 101, 106, 107, 108. And he said the 102, 3, 4, 5 are not available to trade for. So Jared and then the other guy, they're not budging. Based off of my roster, what picks would you make or what player would you try to trade for? Thanks again. This show's the best. So here's his roster.
Okay, so I just wonder, is the 102 really not for trade? Or is Ryan probably not willing to move back from 101? Because Ryan definitely needs to take a quarterback. Like, there's a chance he ends up with getting shut out of the quarterbacks here.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so hear me out. Just I don't know if everyone knew, this isn't the last rookie draft class ever. He does have Herbert and Geno and Jimmy G, right? So he has 2 quarterbacks that he can, what's the word I want to use? Triage to get through this year with Herbert, even if he were to add Bijan. Next year, there's going to be a 24 class. There's going to be more quarterbacks in that draft. Just saying.
Yep.
I don't want to get so stuck in the mindset. Look, and I get it, super flex, and I know that we need it, right? But I don't want to pass up Bijan for. I don't think there's any doubt that he's the 101 in this class, right? So if I'm trading back to the 102, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to get paid.
And see, that's where we probably differ a little bit. If I have the 101 and we don't know the rest of his team or the context, but I see a lot of people with the 101 and they absolutely have no business digging their heels in going, Shane, you need to pay me or I'm not trading this 101. Meanwhile, you got other stacked teams that have these other picks that are a Bijan away from having a really good team. And they go, no, I'm not moving back from that 101 to 103 unless you're paying me multiple firsts. Like, they're just being ridiculous. And it feels like these two probably could work out a trade considering they have 4 of the top 6 picks, but it sounds like maybe that's not happen. So pick your players, I guess.
They need to stop drinking so much coffee and just talk to one another and communicate instead of using a therapist or a third-party mediator, because that never works.
Oh, do you speak from experience, sir?
I've heard.
You've heard. Okay, and let's knock out the last coffee here. This from Moose Hawk. This was a couple weeks ago. 1 of 2. This looks scarier than it actually is. I'm going to say it. So 12-team, 1 QB PPR, start 8. It's a 0.25 per completion for quarterbacks, a minus 0.1 per incompletion, 0.1 per rush yard, 0.06 per receiving, and it's a 0.25 point per carry. So for running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, every carry you get 0.25. How much more do you value QBs in this setting? We actually just had a startup in this kind of settings, right, Scott? It's like fairly similar. So talk QBs in this setting.
Okay, so it's going to be 0.15 per completion, basically, because you're taking the net of the incompletion. So it's a little more than that, but you get the point. Because if you're completing 66% of your passes, you're going to get a negative for that 33% that you're incompleting. So it's probably around like 0.2 per completion, right? So what's the first thing you see when you see per completion? Attempts. I want a lot of attempts. I want a quarterback that's throwing it a lot. So Jalen Hurts is probably right on the fringe, but Lamar Jackson goes down. Justin Fields goes down. Those guys have to go down because they're going to throw it 150 times less than the Allens, Herberts, Burrows, Mahomes. So you got to ding them for that. Then you're looking at the point per carry and you're going, okay, well, they go back up because it's point per carry, but do they go up enough to offset the completions? Probably not. But man, like if it's a start 8, even 1 QB, I'm looking at like Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen in this format because those guys are going to run a decent amount too, but they're going to throw a lot too. And they're going to, they're efficient. So they're not going to be 60% completion percentage either. So I imagine, Josh Allen in this format probably scores 10 points or more above replacement. Easy.
Yeah, he's got Allen, T-Law, Watson, and Gino. And he was asking, one of his questions was, what should he be looking for in a Josh Allen or T-Law trade? Like, how much would you give up for T-Law in this format? Are you giving 323 firsts, and the first one would have to be like, 102, 103?
I mean, he's got them all, so he needs to find a sell price, I assume, because he's obviously stacked quarterback.
That's what I mean. Would you?
You know what? I'm curious on Shane's thoughts because I know he's thought about 1 QB values. The biggest detriment to this isn't what I'm giving up or what I'm giving back or getting back. It's how much I'm helping another team. Like right now, the value that I'm holding is keeping another team for potentially getting close to matching me at quarterback because I'd say Watson and T-Law are like that tier right below, Allen and Mahomes. So how much is the value to me to play keep away? Because I'm guessing the person that has him is going, you have a bunch of quarterbacks. You don't even need a first for him. It's like, well, I'll just let him rot before I give him to you.
You're right. I don't need a first for him. That doesn't help me. I need your best player positionally. And that best player better be Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or Breece Hall plus. If it's AJ Brown, then guess what? You need to give me AJ Brown and T Higgins. Like you're going to pay out of your nose to get them off of me in this format. Like it needs to help me.
Yeah, exactly. In a 1 QB, I don't think you go Jefferson Chase, but I think I need to look, and I normally don't trade like this, but I would have to look at Shane's roster and go, Shane, if I'm giving you Trevor Lawrence, this deal needs to hurt you as much as it's hurting me based on me giving you that advantage. Like it has to ding you. You're not trading it from picks and spare parts.
Right.
Like a couple late first doesn't really move the needle for me.
Right.
Yeah, and Musok also asked for us to give him general thoughts about his roster. We in the interest of time, I would suggest you hit us up, dynastytradesin5@gmail.com. We do roster reviews. That would actually be the best way to be able to look at this. Shade's eyes widen. To look at this squad, really give it a thorough look. Dynastytradesin5@gmail.com if you're interested in one of those. We have a bunch that we're working on right now. If you ordered one and you're still waiting, we got you. If you sent me an email and I haven't gotten back to you yet, I will get back to you shortly. Shane and Scott are in the thick of it. They're doing their best to pump these suckers out ASAP. So thank you for that coffee. I shouldn't say super chat. Thank you for the coffees, gentlemen. Okay, let's go into the chat. I saw... Whoops. Oh, gosh. I almost did something weird with minimizing a screen. Somebody's got... Alex C. has a trade in his inbox right now. I give Wandale, and I get the 207. For context, I have Hodgins as well.
Superflex, this is a smash. Single QB. Okay. It's the liquidity. I'm fine with that.
I'm just going to hold on to Wandale for 207. I don't care. I'll risk the upside. Maybe he turns into Kadarius Toney for like 3 weeks, and then I can flip him for a first.
Okay, let's go this right here. Tristan Matthews went through your videos and couldn't find what I was looking for. What's the optimal dynasty roster construction? 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, wide receivers, and the rest running backs? You cannot give a 30-second answer on this.
I'm not even going to try.
So point him to where he can find this stuff.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat did answer him as well, but essentially just pointed him over to Destination Dynasty, and I've done all the roster construction stuff on there. I think it started end of the season is when I did the first couple.
I think it was November, October.
Yeah, it was like the last month or so. It was like playoff time where I covered the lineup, and then we just completed one on Best Ball. So check those out. Things don't change that much from year to year. Like you can apply what I said in those, even though they're from November and December, you can literally apply them to this next season coming up. So yeah, listen to those. Destination Devi radio feed. Check out the podcast and just look for the Destination Dynasty shows. They're posted on every Monday morning.
Okay. James, thank you for the super chat, man. 1 of 2, 12 team, start 8, PPR, Superflex, notable assets, Deshaun, Kyler, Lance, running backs, Brees, Ramondre, Dylan, wide receivers, London, DK, Traylon, tight end is Kyle Pitts. It's got the 101, 102, 104, and 2 projected early to mid 24 firsts. Find myself wanting to hoard picks, tear down, and buy injured players at a discount. When do you evaluate when to go all in without sacrificing leverage?
Can you go back to the first screenshot? It's tough. It's start 8. What the
Say
fuck?
it. Use the H word.
Dude, fucking hammers. What are you doing? Like, look, leverage makes sense. There's times when you need to do it. You have the 101, the 102, the 104, and 2 early 24 first. What the fuck are you doing? What are you holding them for? Like, seriously, like, when do you plan on spending these things? Like, at some point, you have to invest in players. I mean, you don't have to. You can continue to always be like, I have the most draft picks ever, and that's fun. So I'm always going to have a lot of draft picks. But, bro, dude, Deshaun, Kyler, start 8, Superflex. You got Lance as your third quarterback. Here you go. Here's the 102 in Lance and Kyler. Go try to trade that for Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen. Like, just go do that. You know why? Because you can. And you'd still have the 101. You'd still have the 104. And I forget what else I gave up. You'd still have 224 first. You're done leveraging. You have enough stuff. It's start 8. Go get hammers.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a little feisty. Are you okay, bub?
I think he's reading through these assets and he's counting, 14, 15s. Wow, you have like 16 great assets in a start 8. It is time to start consolidating. The reason I always talk about leverage is because you want to know how to get it when you need it. But then there's points where it's like, okay, I have more money than I could ever spend. What do I do? Just sit there and never spend it. Like, there is a time to splurge. There is a time to go, you know what? This year, I'm going to go take 3 of these firsts or 1 of these players and 2 firsts and go try to get myself a hammer. And then, you know what? You don't leave yourself completely bare. You don't turn all those assets into 7 players and go, well, I hope all those 7 players stay healthy. You always want to kind of maintain, a nice little cushion. But, yeah, don't be afraid to spend. Go buy some. You can literally win that league next year without giving up half your leverage. So go do it.
Logan, thank you for the super chat. 1 of 2, 10 team, 1 QB, start 8. Sorry, I got distracted there. PPR, Herbert, K9, Lamb, AJB, Wilson, Olave, JMO, Burks, Pitts, 101, 107, 108, 201, 4 firsts and 24. Hammer RBs with the picks. And then, should I care if Bijan goes to the Chargers with Herbert on my roster? Is there a limit to how many players from one NFL team or less optimal stacks like QB, RB, or running back, wide receiver from the same team? So let's start with that. Talk about if you're worried about having too many good players on good teams.
Running backs and tight ends eat into each other's targets. The late great Mike Tagliere did a really good breakdown on Fantasy Pros a few years back, explaining that. But I will take a quarterback, running back, and wide receiver from the same roster every day of the week. Do you run the risk of 1 week they're only going to score 20 points total? Like as an NFL team, and maybe they won't produce. Yeah. But look at the Eagles, for example. Last year, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Miles Sanders on a lot of my teams. I don't remember 1 week that turned out poorly for me. Now, obviously you want to do it on a high end roster. I get a little scared when I'm like, oh, I have Drake London, Tyler Algier, and Kyle Pitts, and they're all with the Falcons, and I don't know who their quarterback is. That's a little troublesome. You know what I mean? But a high-end offense like I expect the Chargers to be, and I don't care where Bijan lands anyway. Like Bijan, he could land on the XFL rosters, and I'm still drafting him 1-on-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a start 8. So there's probably at a point there's a little overkill with the stacking. Like you probably wouldn't want to have 4 Chargers, despite the Chargers probably being one of the offenses where you'd say, hey, give me any piece. because it's high volume and it's a good offense. But yeah, I mean, I'll just point you towards another live stream show I did on Destination Dynasty where I talked about stacking. There are optimal places to stack in a start 8. How many stacks are truly relevant? 3, 4 in the entire league. You like Mike Williams and Justin Herbert is a great place to stack in a start 11 because the most beneficial to stack is with a quarterback and like their wide receiver 3, because in theory, their wide receiver, when I say wide receiver 3, meaning like a dynasty wide receiver 3, because they're not that costly to get. But the upside of the weekly potential of like Justin Herbert and Mike Williams versus Justin Herbert and Gabe Davis, I'd rather have Justin Herbert and Mike Williams. There's some correlation with stacking there. In a start 8, though, none of Justin Herbert's weapons, other than probably Eckler, are even startable. So it's kind of like that. There's no point in stacking unless it's Chase and Burrow, Allen and Diggs. Like everyone knows those stacks. There's 3 or 4 in the whole league, and they're going to be really hard to get.
Yeah, so real quick here, what should he do with these picks? 101, Bijan, 107, 108, 201. It's a 1 QB start 8, so we're trying to consolidate some of these pieces, right? Put them all together and buy something cool.
I would say move 1 or 2 to 24, but he's already got
he's got 4 of those.
40% of the first next year. So yeah, you're gonna have to pick players eventually.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully that helped you out here. We'll keep moving. Appreciate that super chat, Logan. Okay, let's put that one down. Jason Schrank, 109 in Algier or 25 first in Rashad White.
Shane, who do you prefer, Algier or White, if you literally had to pick?
I like Rashad White better, but I'll take 109 in Algier over a 25 first and Rashad White. At best, Rashad White is equal to Algier, and he's not. I mean, in my eyes, yes, but not in the community's eyes. And the 25 is time value, part of money. That means that 25 first is actually worth the 206 right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, Shane, if I were to put that in your inbox, I give you a 206 and you give me a 25 first. Would you do that?
A 206? No, because it's still first.
Okay. Just making sure. One of these days I'm gonna do that to you and be like, because I know it is weird. That's a lot of years away.
I mean,
or 2.
Shane nailed the answer, though. It's basically White and Algier are far enough down that you're kind of like, okay, I'll just take either one. Whatever one I have is a placeholder. And then no way I would trade the 109 for a 25.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Got a funny one there. Reese, thank you for the super chat. 1 of 2. Hey fellas, love the content. I'm in a 10-team 1 QB start 9 PPR. Just traded DJ Moore for the 106 and Jeff Wilson Jr. Running backs are Breeze Pacheco, P. Ryan. Wide receivers Chase, Devontae Smith, Olave, McLaurin, Ridley, Moore, and Claypool. I already have the 110. Trade okay? So we said he gave DJ Moore for the 106 and Jeff Wilson. 10-team 1 QB start 9.
I'm fine with it.
No.
I mean,
that's like his value, right?
Hold on, let me bring up my
big 1 QB start 9.
Yeah.
DJ Moore 106.
I'm okay with it.
I'm going to bring up my big board. At 106, I have 1, 2, 3.
You definitely have not taken Quentin Johnston yet.
Zay Flowers. Oof. I did in a 1 QB. I don't know why. I'd like to change that pick when we go back to the video. I think I'm going to hold DJ Moore here. I don't care about Jeff Wilson Jr. So I'm just going to hold the DJ Moore here. Again, but if I'm on the clock and I'm looking at being able to somehow get JSN, I'm not getting JSN. There's no narrative I can spin right here. I want. I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm sorry. I want DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I'd be okay taking the pick because whether Jeff Wilson matters or not, he probably adds another running back shot where if I get one start out of him, it was worth something. The one shot I have with the 106 is it's potentially more marketable over the next month. You never know. DJ Moore is DJ Moore.
DJ Moore is DJ Moore. I see here, Hurricane Lane, 12-team Superflex. This is an inbox trade. Tight end premium, start 11 best ball. Give T. Higgins, Chig, get the 104, Lazard, and Thornton. Also, Shane, my first Dynasty Nerds article drops tomorrow. Mind reviewing it for me? Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Congrats. Send it over to me. I can't promise I'll actually read it before it drops. But send me the link. I'll read that. I'll definitely read it on one of my smoke breaks tomorrow. Just for you, I will take an extra cigarette break tomorrow at work. I will be less productive.
Just for you.
What do you like here, Shane?
I mean, so
I'd want a different kind of trade. Sorry for jumping in there, but
no, I don't. What am I going to do with Lazard and Tyquan Thornton? Like
it is best ball. Those guys do matter.
They're never going to matter. Alan Lazard mattered all of 3 games last year. How many times did he break 11 fantasy points net last year? I'm not even sure. I have no idea. Clay can look it up. I'm going to say it was 4 at most. Tyquan Thornton, I don't even know if he makes the team this year. So I'm going to go with T. Higgins side. Like Superflex 104, I could go quarterback. I don't know. Do you need a quarterback?
This is one of those where in a lineup league, I don't want this kind of trade. Like Clay said, like I want a different. It's a trade where I'm having trouble figuring out where the leverage is. Because if I'm getting a better receiver instead of 2 other receivers, then yeah, in a lineup league, you're smashing this. But I'm okay taking either side. If you need a quarterback, I cannot argue with the 104 because it may be hard to get one, and all you're giving up is a receiver.
Problem is if it's got a quarterback that I don't have any control over who it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I was way off. Lazard went over like 10 times. So actually, Lazard for best ball was actually not
Lazard is good. Lazard
is
actually better than I ever thought he was until I looked at his metrics, and I'm like, this might be a top 36 receiver pretty easily.
Like honestly, if you just take out, he had a couple bust weeks, right? And in best ball, you can take it out 1.7, 4.4, and 7.5. You take those out, he's actually right there with Higgins. So now that I'm looking at it a little more,
he's always been good. He just gets banged up. Okay, what is this? DJJ Dog 1. Is that
almost?
Let me write it down. 102.15 Shane TikTok. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Superflex 10-team PPR start 11 rebuild. QB is Daniel Jones. Wide receivers Higgins, Devontae Smith, Ayuk, JMO. No running backs. Tight end is Freiermuth and Dulcich. Tanking one more year with a 102, 3, 4, 202, 203, 209, and some thirds and fourths. Best option for all these picks, thinking of taking Stroud, Richardson, JSN, and trading my seconds for 24 picks or slamming RBs to trade later. Rebuild. 10-team, Superflex start 11.
I like his idea of trading the running backs later if he knows he can do that in his league, because he's going to get essentially the 202 is the 112, 203 is the 201, because it's a 10-team. You got to know your league, though. Before I draft a bunch of running backs on a team where I'm not ready for the running backs, I better know that there's a market for him if one of them pops. Is this a league that people would have given up a first for like Dameon Pierce or A.J. Dillon, that type? If so, then I'm okay doing it. If not, you may just be stuck holding the bag on a bunch of running back bodies before you need them.
I love that. No running backs. Literally none. There's not one on my roster. Go to the second part of this, please.
Second part.
I'm trying to think about taking Stroud, Richardson, Jameson, trading all of my seconds for 24 picks or slam running backs. All right, go back to that first part, please. Yes, I'm taking CJ Stroud at 102, Gibbs at 103, JSN at 104. I'm competing this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though he said he doesn't want to compete this year.
He's going to compete this year. We just made him compete. He doesn't have a choice. He's going to compete. And then the 202.
So you're building a running back room of all rookies and just letting it rip.
Chase Brown, Tajay Spears, whichever one actually gets day 2 capital out of Eric Gray, Zach Tucker. That's not his name. Sean Tucker.
John Tucker.
The other guy. One of those a good day too.
I liked his idea. Taking Stroud, Richardson, JSN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with that too.
But hey, Shane wants you to win a title. All right. So holler at Shane. At Shane is the worst on Twitter.
Shane's not very patient. I've got one league where I have 7 first-round picks, and I'm trying to combine them all right now, knowing that it's not even the smart move to do. I don't have the patience. I don't know how long I'm going to live, so I don't want to just be like, this is a 3-year rebuild. So 2-year rebuild, I'm fine with. And guess what? Here's the same thing I said earlier about quarterbacks. There's going to be other rookie drafts besides this one. This isn't the last one ever. This isn't the last time.
It may be your last.
It might be, but this isn't going to be the last time that there's quarterbacks, etc. in drafts. You can draft a running back, and guess what? I know they're ticking time bombs. Most of them are going to last at least another season. Most of them, especially the good ones. They generally last more than one NFL season.
Yep. Tristan, thank you for the super sticker. Thoughts on Lance? And then what is the Kyler Hollywood stack price? So first off, thoughts on Lance. Let's do this. Would you rather have Trey Lance or the 108 in Superflex right now?
Pick.
Like, I want to say Lance. I really do, but I can't get there. It feels like the 49ers hate him. So give me the pick.
That's my thoughts on Lance. I listened to that video today from the surgeon that did Nick Mullins' UCL repair, and he talked about Brock Purdy's repair. He didn't do Brock Purdy's, but he talked about the psychology of the injury and the recovery, and it actually made me feel a lot more confident that Brock Purdy, his words, and I'll directly quote him, were, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Brock Purdy is back to where he was. So that just tells me right there, like, people hoping that Trey Lance takes the job and doesn't ever give it back up, probably pipe dream at this point. Your best bet on Trey Lance is they decide he's not the guy and they trade him somewhere over the summer. Because it just feels like if he starts, what's the expectation going to be, Shane? He better smash or they're going to go right back to Brock Purdy. He cannot survive another benching for Brock Purdy. So it's like I'm getting out on Lance because I do think even if he were to get traded, the buyback in cost of the excitement of the new spot isn't going to be enough to where it's like, man, this guy's unattainable. So if I can get out for a pick, I mean, a 108, I'm just taking it.
Yeah. What do you think this last part, Kyler, excuse me, Kyler Hollywood stack price?
Well, first of all, I don't even know if that's going to be a stack. For all I know, Marquise might not like it there anymore and decide he wants to get traded again. Isn't he a free agent after this year?
He's going to be on a 5th-year option, so he technically, yes, he is. And he went to Arizona so he could get extended, but it's a new regime now that didn't trade for him. So, yeah, I'm with Shane. I love that stack. I love both players, but I'm not super excited to go pay for that stack. I mean, what would you pay for that stack, Shane, right now? And you just bet that it might help you the second half of the season. What would you pay?
Can I give up the 103 for Kyler? Can I get Kyler?
Get them both. Would you give up the 102 for both?
Yes.
If you had that, I don't think that's a crazy offer. If they decline, they decline. But I mean, what more do they want for Kyler? You know, his market's not the 102 anymore.
And that's the thing. People hate Kyler. People like Clay have it out for Kyler. They root against him because he's short, and people like Clay are tall. So they don't like people like me, you, and Kyler. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure you can get Kyler in most of your leagues for a 102. Like, just send that out right now, and I would do that.
Okay. I was wondering where that was going. I was like, when did I talk shit on Kyler? When you're talking about my Brock Osweiler stature. Okay. Let's go with Eric here. Thank you, sir. 10-team Superflex start 12. Kyler and the 106 for Goff, 105 and a 24 first.
Ooh, start 12. Start 12.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because you're getting the pick. That 106 and 105 could be the difference between maybe getting another quarterback too.
Look, 105. 105. You're definitely getting Will Levis or Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. You're getting one of the two.
But
Yeah.
it's an upgrade in an important tier, right? And you're basically getting an extra 24 first on top of it. That's a creative deal. I can see where the other side would go, man, this is my one shot to turn Jared Goff into a better quarterback. I'm just going to have to eat it and hope it works out for me with Kyler.
Yeah, actually, I like this deal from both sides. Like, I want this to be one of those deals that comes across as trade bait, and I'd want to like jump in the chat and make fun of someone, except I really couldn't. And I'd be like, good deal. Screw you guys and gals.
Guys and gals. Okay, let's pull up another one here. I saw Professor Charlie had one. Hashtag for tonight's super chat. Thank you, Charlie. It ain't a hammer, but maybe a mallet. Okay. 10-team start 9 Superflex. He's got Henry, the 101. Think I need RB depth. I've got the 201 and Darnold and Wentz. Pickens, Gabe Davis, and Josh Palmer. John Mechie and Spiller as well. Any advice to use leverage, picks, or players?
I mean, probably need a little more context, but you know what? If he needs running back depth, pretty much everybody he named on there, except for probably George Pickens, is a perfect candidate for, including the 202. Can I get a running back for John Mechie? Can I get Samaje Perine for John Mechie? You know, in a start 9, that's going to be more equitable to have running backs if he needs them. If literally all he has is Derrick Henry in the 101. I assume that's what he's asking. What does he do with all these spare parts? Can he turn those into running backs? Because effectively they're roster cloggers in a 10-team start 9.
Shane, do you have some thoughts there? I'm looking for a question from earlier, so I'm trying to buy time. I can't see
202, right, Darnold and Wentz, Pickens, Gabe Davis. Right. Any advice to use leverage, pick a place? Well, it's start 9. So, I mean, Wentz is probably a player that I'm just cutting anyway. So, I mean, a lot of these are pieces that no one's going to give you anything for. At least they shouldn't. Like, I'm not giving you anything of value for Josh Palmer and a John Mechie, Isaiah Spiller package. Like, if you sent that to me, I'd be like, I will give you a third. And I will only give you a third if I have a couple extra roster spots. Sure, try to trade those things off for thirds, maybe. But they're not really anything of consequence or value. Pickens, I've already talked about as someone that I'd like to sell high on if I can, but you're not going to be able to do that in every league. So just hold on.
I'm looking at this comments. They hate Waddle for some reason. No leverage. Those from our tweet. Everybody thinks we hate Waddle.
I don't hate Waddle, so I have Waddle in a pretty good amount of leagues. But if we can turn Waddle into specifically like the Waddle moves I'm looking to make are really specific. I'm like, can I get someone to give me Devonta Smith and a second for him? Can I get someone to give me Amon-Ra St. Brown and anything plus for him?
Yeah,
players that are basically in that same tier for me and just getting a free anything.
Yeah, here was a question. I'll create a really quick banner. Okay, it's going to be missing a couple letters, but whatever. What do you do when leverage isn't an option? Put Higgins and Waddle types on the block and no one's biting at all. Not a particularly sharp league, and I think people aren't motivated to do deals right now.
I mean, first of all, you can drag a horse to water and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't force people to trade. I will say, though, I've had success. If I want to get leverage deals done, I don't put players on the trade block. If I put players on the trade block, it's auto accept on the trade block. No negotiation. There's no leverage. It's 1-for-1. It's basically I'm trading this player for a third. I'm trading this player for a second. Like, I'll do that if I want to trade assets away. If I want leverage, no one is going to come to you and be like, hey, man, let me offer you a leverage deal. And I'm going to give you all the leverage. Like, maybe once in a blue moon you get those offers. But most of the time, if I'm trying to get the leverage, I'm sending out the trades. I'm not putting a guy on a trade block. So I'm taking T. Higgins or Jalen Waddle, and I'm going down the line and proposing 10 trades. I assume Shane does the same thing. When he wants to make a move, he's not putting them on the trade block. He's sending what he wants to everyone else. And he's probably being a little flexible on what he gets back. It doesn't have to be this one player.
Yeah, most of the times my trade block is empty. Like, if it's not, it's only because I'm bored or one of you two is talking during this and I'm going to update just random stuff while, you know what I mean? Because I'm not paying attention. But Yeah, no, you got to be aggressive. You got to be the one sending offers out. And here's the other thing: if your league's not going to trade, you can't force them to trade. So don't like diminish your own market. Like, all right, well, no one accepted that offer, so let me take Michael Gallup and Josh Palmer, because he was just up for T Higgins, because at least it's 2 players, and it's the best offer I could get.
Okay, let's move to this next one here. We're working through some of these super chats. Brendan, thank you, sir. 12-team Superflex, half PPR, start 9. Give the 101, 102, 108, 111, 208, 224 first, a 25 second. Receive Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, and Miles Sanders. Okay. So he's giving the 101, 102,
Yes.
108,
Yes.
11. Okay,
Yes.
so 4 firsts.
Yes.
6 firsts.
Yes.
He's getting Josh Allen
and start 9.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Like, it was really cool thinking about Bijan was going to be on my roster. It's even cooler. Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson being on my roster. Look, the 101 and the 102 are valuable. I'm not going to pretend they're not, but the 108, 111, and the start 9, there's a good chance that those guys wouldn't even ever start for you. Unless, the 111 turns into Justin Jefferson, like it did a few years ago when we all drafted incorrectly, not just me.
So let's say this team is total trash, though. Total trash. And they got all these assets and they were hoping to, rebuild. And they're like, oh, I'm going to dump all of it into Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson. Is that still a good move? And then who knows what else he has in his pick hopper.
I would like to see what else he has,
that?
But it's start 9. So 2 players out of 9 is like, I don't know. I'm just going to make up a number, like 27% of your starting roster. Sure, that sounds right. If he has one more decent starter and he adds Miles Sanders to it, then guess what? He's already got half a really good starting roster. So unless it's absolutely barren, like I'm talking like he's got Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen for some reason and players like that, I can't see not making this deal.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're absolute garbage, then you're probably not accepting the Miles Sanders part. So that should be able to save you maybe the 111 to 208, something like that. And it's still only about what else can I do with those picks. Can I find someone to give me Joe Burrow for the 101 and the 24 first? If I can do that, then I'd rather have some of the picks to play with,
Right.
But if this is the only deal available, this will be tough. So if he can say, listen, my team's not very good. This is all the assets I have, but someone offered me this and I think it's a good deal because on paper, this is a good deal. You're basically sending the equivalent of 7 firsts here ish. If you count the 101 and 102 as like 2 firsts, then you're essentially getting more than that back in value because a lot of times Josh Allen is just unattainable, especially in a start 9. That positional advantage is worth a ton. So I think you just probably take it unless your team is so bad, but if your team's so bad, you're still trying to make other moves where you're just not giving up all these picks in one deal.
Okay, 1 second. Just got a mess. Okay, so we got somebody who bought us a coffee too, and then someone hit me up on Instagram like, hey, so I made a donation. My question wasn't really answered. I made a super chat. Yeah, it wasn't really answered. But
you get live coffee purchases?
It's apparently, man. And this is supposed to just be, hey, we appreciate you. Hey, we appreciate you. People are like, no, if super chats are off, let's buy these guys some freaking coffees.
All right, hold on. Let's knock out some. Hey, he is a DJ.
Go for it.
DJ Dog 1.
That added a lot of value to the show right there.
Whatever.
We need
JB
some.
Joe knows he doesn't believe in live values either.
I had a real good one here while we're doing that. Just real quick.
Go for it.
Zach Linton, shout out to Zach. He leveraged the hell out of Shane on this. He suckered Shane into giving him Higgins, and he gave him an quote unquote an ass load of force.
Force, baby. Yeah. Waddle for Higgins and an ass load of force.
He
Which one did I
leveraged you
get?
for all those fourths, Shane. No, you gave up Higgins and all the fourths, apparently.
I gave up what Higgins and all the force for Waddle.
An ass load of fourths.
Ass loads. Look,
It's like 7 fourths.
there's some leagues where I have a ridiculous number of picks. I'm like, why do I have 6 fourth-round draft picks? What am I going to do with these? So good for you, Zach. Now what you want to do is bundle them up and try to get a third for them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Stephen Myers, thank you for the coffees. Shane, you got 3 coffees. I need a second QB. What do I do? 12 team Superflex, start 8. Have T-Law, JT, Brees Hall, CMC, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Ridley, and Pitts. 102, 104, 105, 524 first. What should I move to get a QB? So I know you can't see it.
You just named a bunch of assets. So here's what I'll say is it's like paint by numbers, right? Or it's like just go, explore, go see what you can do. As I add this, well, if I throw CMC and the 24 first at the Joe Burrow owner, what does that do? What if I throw 224 first and I don't know, name one of those other players that I wasn't listening to? What quarterback can I get for that? Oh, did you write all that? Good for you. He has T-Law.
I just threw it up there.
There. Good. Okay. Let's see. Can I throw Ridley and the 104 and a 24 first at someone? And what quarterback can I get? Mix and match. This is where it's fun to mix and match and just try to basically give up the least amount that you can to get a stud quarterback. But if you have to pay up, you have JT, Brees Hall, CMC, 102, and 524 first to make it happen. This would be one of those ones where I might just annoy people and offer someone 424 firsts for a quarterback. Make them say, you know what? No, I'm not taking 4 firsts for Jalen Hurts.
I mean, I see 9 top 30 assets plus the 102, 4, and 5 and 524 first. So that is effectively like 17 super valuable assets. You have to be able to find a quarterback. Anybody's on the table. JT, Brees Hall, CMC, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, all of them are available. You can afford to lose 3 of these assets. You can almost go to somebody and say, listen, I have a really awesome clearance sale. I'm willing to trade you 3 assets, not named Trevor Lawrence. Will you give me your Josh Allen? You pick the 3. You pick the 3 assets. I don't even care because I'll fill the rest with the draft. You'll be fine.
You will be
he
fine.
Probably hates you. There's a reason they won't trade you a quarterback because as soon as they do, the league's over for the next 2 years.
Yep. Okay, let's go to this one right here. S Monster. Thank you for the super chat. 1 of 2, 12-team Superflex, start 10, no tight end premium. Traded the 101 for the 103, 107 Judy. Okay, so let's start with that. Traded the 101 for the 103, 7 and Judy. That's a good deal for the 101, right?
Shane?
Good as you
like start 10.
It's as good as you're going to get. And I don't feel great about it. I got a feeling I'm going to be drafting a lot of Bijan on my non-Bijan ready teams out of spite and hoping that he runs for 3,000 yards next year.
Okay. Then the Cascade trade here traded the 107 for Najee and the 103.
But he traded the 107 for Najee and the 103?
No. He got the 103 and the 107 for the 101. Then he took Judy and the 107 for Najee and the 103 is what I'm guessing. Judy then traded. Yeah, the commas are messing me up here.
Hey, let's be nice.
Whoa, calm down about the commas, bro.
I'm still trying to figure this one out.
Yeah. So maybe he just mixed it up. So I feel like he wrote it out correctly. 101.
No, I got it. I got it. He traded 101 for 103, 107, and Judy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we were right on that. Okay. Then he traded the 107 for Najee, straight up.
Okay.
Then he traded the 103 and Judy for a 24 first and Jamar Chase. Did he win in the culmination of what he got? So he ended up getting Najee, the 24 first, and Jamar Chase for the 101, effectively, is the way that I read it.
He got Jamar
Well,
Chase
yeah. Well, then all the other stuff is just icing on the cake.
for the
Well, no.
101.
No, he ended up giving the 101. No, I got this wrong. He ended up giving the 101 and a 24 first.
Okay.
For Najee and Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out he says 103 and Judy first for Chase. Okay, yeah, he's giving corrections in the chat. I think he ended up essentially turning the 101 into Jamar Chase, and he swapped the 24 first for Najee Harris.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Look,
Did not get a 24 first, yeah.
Hit that like if you'd be so kind. listening to that.
And not to pick on Mr. Monster here, but that was a hard to figure out.
Yeah.
The I get what he's trying to do, but
Yeah.
it might have been better to just give the what I started
All
with
good.
and what I ended with. But yeah, all good.
And he said he was trying to make a run. JF1, Watson, KW3, Najee, Chase, Diggs, Ridley, Hollywood, Lockett, and Pitts. Yeah, I mean he's got a lot of good pieces there.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Okay, sorry about that fumbling around there. Let's keep on keeping on here. Alex, 12 team, start 9, half PPR Superflex. Should I move from Olave to DJ Moore and either a 24 first or a 112, 103 pick swap? Also, 108 for Henry is too good to turn down, right?
No, I don't think it's too good to turn down, but I'm okay taking that pick for
half
Henry.
PPR.
It is a start 9 half PPR, so I can also see people saying, "Give me the hammer." That format, you'd probably pay the 108 for Henry, wouldn't you, Shane?
Yep.
Yeah. Zach Charbonnet or Henry?
Sorry, my brain can't process that question.
Not yet, because you don't know.
My brain just broke when it had to think about who I like better right now. Zach
So, what do
Charbonnet.
you prefer here? Do you prefer the DJ Moore and a 24 first, or do you prefer flipping from the 103 to the 112 and the 103?
So it's a free first or moving up 9 in a super flex where I'm going to get either Stroud or Bryce Young.
Well, he'd be giving up either Olave for DJ Moore and a first, or Olave
in the 112
Moore
for DJ Moore and the 103.
and
Yeah. I'm
Which
working
one
the
do you
math
prefer?
out. I do DJ Moore in the 103.
I'm good with either one, but yeah, I mean, if you need a quarterback, I think that's a good spot to do the flop, do the swap.
Is.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I just starred one here. Matthew B with an inbox offer, 12 team Superflex, start 10, give Watson, get the 105 and Jordan Love.
No. Especially when you're running your quarterback room is Aaron Rodgers and Brock Purdy, and now I'm going to Jordan Love. I'm good.
No, because I mean, like Rodgers is your iffy guy, right? He's the one that you're like year to year with. I don't want to add another dude into that mix when I'm only getting the 105 back.
And Brock Purdy's iffy.
Brock Purdy, I don't even count him. I know people love him. He's scrappy and all that good stuff. He's first in, first out, slot receiver, whatever. But I'm just not a Brock Purdy guy.
First in, first out. Okay, so don't do it. Don't do it, Matthew B. Okay, let's go to. All right, I want to hear Shane say this last name.
Gerlando.
Not bad.
That's how you say it. It's correct.
You gotta love the Philly accent. Okay, Michael, thank you for the super chat. 12 team Superflex, start 9 PPR. Team is Mahomes, Russ, Mac, ETN, JT, DK, Devontae Smith, Cup, Lockett, Komet. 101, 107, 111, 201. Send Russ the 101, 107, 201, and DK and get Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs.
Yes, you now have Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in a start 9. Your team the floor is like top 5 every year.
And as we've already established, that's 27% of your starting roster, just at those two quarterback positions. Yeah, you're in good shape, my friend.
And you're just getting Stephon Diggs tossed in.
Yeah. That's That's not pretty bad. It's pretty good. You did pretty
We
well.
want to see how you anti-leverage your league into hating you. It's doing this type of deal and giving the Mahomes team Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
This is why you get picks and stuff, right? Like I know again, and I'll beat this into people's heads because they think we like rookie picks just to make the picks. Like, no, we like rookie picks because then you can do stuff like this and you can reconfigure your roster correctly. Like there's a lot of leagues where you're like, I don't understand why you're trading Chris Olave for 2 firsts. Like you're just hoping one of those firsts is going to turn into Chris Olave, and you're like, yeah, but I'm also hoping that the other one could turn into Chris Olave, or at least a dream of him. Oh shit, the cops! I gotta go.
They know where you are on a Tuesday night. Okay, let's keep on keeping on here. Caleb, thank you, sir. 12-team Superflex, half PPR, start 10. Waddle for Hopkins, 24 first, 24 second. The team with the picks has the 102 this year. He has JJ, Chase, Pittman, Ridley.
So apparently the team is just obsessed with getting all young receivers and doesn't care much else about that. So half PPR, I'm okay taking this deal. A lot of people would probably be like, I don't know. But half PPR, I think it devalues the receivers just enough for me to consider it. If you didn't want to, fine, but I'm okay with it.
Certainly does. And I don't know if you've looked at the 24 class at running back. Anyway, yeah, I'd have to eyeball that roster because, like, if it's the 112 and Hopkins for Waddle, I'm not going to feel great about life. But if it's,
he had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and still ended up finishing at the 102. So it must.
The team with the picks has the 102 this year. I'm assuming he says have. He has JJ, Chase, Pittman, and Ridley.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other way. No, okay, then yeah, I would even be fine doing it unless the team is just like absolutely stacked. I'm good with it. Even more so.
Okay, I saw this one in the chat. It was from 270 videos. It mentioned Ragey and see if you could find that, Shane, if you wouldn't mind. It was wanted to get our thoughts on this trade that Ragey was talking about.
What am I doing?
Never mind. I'll find it.
I'll look for it. Go ahead.
Okay, Ari.
Same thing.
12-team Superflex, start 8. Give Waddle the 23 111, get Garrett Wilson and the 106.
Yes.
What?
I'm so confused.
Yes, Waddle or Garrett Wilson over Waddle.
Over Waddle, and then 106 miles ahead.
Yes. Dude, go hit accept right now. And like in the accept note, be like no takebacks.
Yeah, so Ari, if this is actually the trade, this is a league where you can pull off some leverage trades apparently, because this person wants Waddle way more than Garrett Wilson. Must really love the name, right? Because otherwise, they're both studs. Did you guys get that read too?
And then what you do is
like a league where you could pull off some shit because people love names in this league.
Yes, you accept this deal, and then you wait 2 days, and then you go propose him the 106 for the 111 in his 24 first.
Yep.
Let's see if he'll take it.
We're getting into that spot of the live stream, 10:06, where I start being able to make sentences, make words. Okay, thank you, Ari. Appreciate that. Let's go to this one right here. 270 videos. Was listening to Ray G and T Rich, and they both agreed that the 112 and Jordan Love is better than the 106. Curious of your thoughts. 12-team Superflex. I've got my thoughts.
Well, what do you guys think? Because these are my boys. I don't necessarily agree, but I heard the discussion on this, so I have interesting thoughts too. But what do you guys think?
I'm guessing this is based on a roster that needs a quarterback, right? It was 106 for Jordan Love and the 112. Because at the 106, you're not getting a quarterback. And you're probably shut out of, well, you're not probably, you are shut out of the wide receiver 1 and the running back 1 of the class. No?
No.
4 quarterbacks.
106.
Okay, JSN. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. So you could
probably getting Will Levis if you want him.
You can get Will Levis if you want him.
Well, that would make me feel actually worse instead of getting JSN. So I can see the logic behind it. Quite frankly, I'd probably just try to use the 112 Jordan Love, see if I could. I couldn't get up past that 106. I bet you if I offered that in a league, I guarantee you, like if I offered that to someone, they're not going to give me the 104 for that.
Yeah, Ray always says, and yeah, these guys are awesome. Ray always says, "Know your league," right? I feel like if this was an active league, a busy league, and I could do something with that 112, then I may want that side more. But as it stands, I'd rather have the 106
It's definitely
as the asset, and then you can choose which way to go. You can go up more or go back to 112 and Jordan Love if you wanted to. I like the singular asset right there.
So
Scott,
if
what do
you
you think?
need a quarterback, like need, and that is your goal in this trade, I'm okay taking the Jordan Love and the 112 because I can easily see where people will go, I don't think Jordan Love is better than Will Levis. But I don't think it's crazy to see the community go, you know what, they're the same thing. We don't really like either one. They're essentially the same age at this point. So I would take Will Levis or the 106 over Jordan Love. But if you told me I'm getting a free 112 and like Clay said, I can go do something with that pick, then fine. And Shane is correct. You don't take the 10 or the 112 in Jordan Love and get any quarterbacks of significance, nor do you move into the top 2 or 3. So it's almost like the person at the 106 might see the dead zone coming and they're like, okay, sure. Like I'm willing to move this pick. But if that same person had the 104, they're going, no. So I think it's just, if you need a quarterback and you're dead set on, man, I'm going to have to take freaking Will Levis at 106, take the trade. I think that's what they were thinking too. Like if that's the thing, then yeah, take the 2 pieces and just see what you can get done.
Yep. Greg, thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 10 PPR. Traded the 23 112, 212, and a 24 second projected late for a projected early to mid 24 first. Overpay or good process?
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm good with it.
If it were to start 12, I mean, even then, it's a good trade.
Listen, Greg probably knows his league, and I bet you he targeted this specific first as a team that he's willing to bet on their first. He says early to mid. He's probably looking at this team going, no way it makes the playoffs. And I like going forward. If I know a team's not making the playoffs, like give me those picks. Aren't we starting to learn that when you have that 103, 104, 105, it seems to carry a lot more weight in a class than the 110, 111, no matter what the class is, just the way Dynasty now devalues running backs and doesn't really value tight ends. It's like, give me into quarterback range. If I'm not in quarterback range, then the pick is kind of just another player.
212s are fun because they're like, oh, my guy's here. I can't believe he's there. And there's a reason that he's there because he's not going to do shit generally in his career, do anything in his career. So, yeah, give me the 24 first.
Gamer dude, thank you for the super chat.
Oh, he had a double. He had a message to go.
Yeah, I saw at the end there. Forgot to mention in my super chat earlier. It's 12-team. Yeah. So 12-team Superflex start 9 PPR quarterbacks: Kyler, Lance, Kirk Cousins, and Pickett. Wide receivers: Deontay, Christian Watson. Running backs are Gibson, Akers. Tight ends: Cole Kmet, Chig, Ertz. Have the 101, 108, 201, 204, 208. Excuse me, need to take a breath. Trade up 101 and 204 plus more for the 104 or 105. Plan to get other wide receivers. Should I upgrade at QB? So it's a 12-team Superflex PPR start 9.
So he's going 108 and 204, and he's trying to crack into the top 4 or 5.
Yep.
I mean, in a start 9, I think we both agree we're doing that if you can get that done. But
I'd give the 108 through 201, 204, and 208 if that could get me into the 104. I don't think that it could, nor should it. I'd be offended if it did, and I saw that come across the ticker. But, yeah, definitely you should try it. And, yes, you should be upgrading quarterback because right now you have Kirk is the only one that I feel confident in next year. I have some Pickett on my rosters, and I don't feel great about that. And
Kyler, you're going to trade him straight up for Mac Jones?
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't want to go backwards now. Jesus. But at least we got that in. we already talked about Lance earlier. So yeah, I mean, try to move those 108s, 201, 204, 208, and see how high you can get.
So we don't have time for this full strategy, but is this one of those teams where you almost go, you know what? I'm so far out of alignment at quarterback. Maybe I'll just let this team roll with what it has. Because it feels like he's 3 trades away from getting his quarterback room to where he wants, like he doesn't even have one to build around, but he's got potentially 4. I mean, maybe you move Lance and try to move up and get a rookie this year, but
I mean, you could try. So you could do something fun like, all right, let me do Lance in the 204 for Dak Prescott, right? And then I got both the Dak Prescotts on my roster, him and Kirk Cousins, because those are the same dude. Then I got Kyler as my QB3, who's really going to be my QB1 when he comes back in week 9. So did I already get rid of Pickett? All right. What can I do with Pickett? Can I use Pickett and Dakota Prescott to move up any? And then Kirk turns into my QB3 once Kyler comes back. So, yeah, you're at least 2 deals away. But that's what we like doing is dealing.
And this is the danger in a startup when you do a startup draft and you go, I'm just going to go depth at quarterback, right? And all of your quarterbacks are outside like the top 12. There's no outs on a roster like that. It's just your outs are how long do my 4 quarterbacks last? When 1 or 2 disappears, now I'm left holding the bag on Trey Lance and Kenny Pickett, and there's nowhere to upgrade. So interesting question, though.
Yep. Okay. We have just a couple minutes left here. Noah, let's pull up your super chat. Thank you very much. Picked up an orphan. Don't know where to start. 8-man, 2 QB, 3 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 3 flexes. So 8 team, 2 QB, start 12, half PPR, 4 point per pass touchdown. Quarterbacks, Allen, Stafford, Ronald Jones, Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary. I like how Ronald Jones is in there now. Olave, Samuel Moore, Williams. Tight ends are Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram. In terms of picks, 101, 201, etc. Have all and only my picks. Also, there's an offer on the table, 101 and Mechie for Burrow and Mixon, but want AJ Brown instead. Okay, sorry, there's like another part to this, but let's leave that. 101 and Mechie for Burrow and Mixon. Yes, I mean it's a 2 QB, right?
8-man.
What am I missing here?
It's an 8-team 2 QB.
Start 3 running backs, start 3 wide receivers.
So think a 12-team start 8 and flip it. It's essentially the same thing. So you're looking at the players in the same scope. So he does need a 3rd quarterback. So I'd be okay with the deal of the Burrow trade, but at the same time, what's the direction there? You know what I mean? Because it is an 8-teamer. There's going to be other people that are going to be able to piece together quarterback rooms. So I'm a little hesitant in an 8-team to do it, but it is 2 QB.
Okay, and then let's see here. Thanks, guys. Love the show. I'm sending on behalf of wife who is new to Dynasty. Clay, she shot down the roster reviews, but allowed this. I welcome Go Watch blank video too. yeah. No,
shout out to her. It's a fun game. Don't get in.
Shout out to Caitlin.
Yeah, don't get in the leagues together. It will lead to divorce.
No, it'll be fun.
That's a story for a future show. Huh? I never heard that one.
No, mine didn't play any Dynasty, and if she did, I would have never let her in my leagues because she would have lorded over other things for me to get trades done. Anyhow,
real quick to Noah, don't settle. He said he wanted AJ Brown instead in that trade because he's given up the 101. It's an 8-team. You got to be able to use that a little bit against the other person. They've probably been trying to ship a package like that, waiting to prey on someone that'll give them a stud running back. So just remember that. Don't just hand it over because it fits your team. You just took the team over. Slow play it.
Okay. And then we got an inbox trade from Colton to close it out. It looks like here 12-team Superflex PPR start 10. Get Matt Stafford in the 302. Give a 25 first. You're saying screw it, just give a 25 first for Matt Stafford?
Despite it being 2025, in about 14 months, you're going to look at this trade and go, what was I
Damn.
doing? I gave up a first for a retired player. So I would take the first here. Yeah. I'm not paying that for Matt Stafford. No thanks.
I'm also not paying that for Matt Stafford. I know I make fun of 25 picks, but yeah, they're going to actually have value in a year where Matthew
Can
Stafford.
I get Mac Jones instead?
You could get 7 Mac Jones for a 25 first.
7 Mac Jones.
You could get a Mac Jones, a Kenny Pickett, and a Jimmy Garoppolo.
And a Big Mac?
Yes.
And a Big Mac. Okay. And then Shane felt like he needed to star this. Not a wide receiver whore or an RB slut, but I consider myself a pick pimp. Oh, God. Okay, so let's see. Buck
Here's another
45
one.
in here. 420 people still in here with us. As always, awesome. We appreciate this Tuesday crew. Go ahead, Shane. Did you want to put up one more thing here?
Clay Exudius says he sent a $20 super chat in at 5 p.m. Are you going to get to it?
I didn't see it.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Well, so StreamYard and YouTube, every single week for the past handful of weeks, if it's too early, it'll disappear. We pull it up. It's not in StreamYard. It's not in the YouTube feed. See if you can find it. Otherwise, I even said in the community post today, like, make sure you take down what the super chat was and screenshot it, because they've been disappearing. So if Scott doesn't find it here, just email dynastytradesin5@gmail.com, say miss super chat in the subject line, and we'll take care of it.
No, everyone's going to do that.
Yeah, well, definitely.
I know, right?
Definitely YouTube limits how far you can go back on them. And I'm just checking the StreamYard real quick to see if we can get to it. I'll let you know in a minute if we can't. I'm guessing probably not, but you never know. He said 5:05 is when he sent it.
Mm-hmm.
5:05. Yeah, the first comment we have in here is from 6:24. So, yep, too early. Hit us next time.
Yep. All right, we got to call it a night. Guys, enjoyed it as always. Would you guys like to say bye?
Bye. It's the doldrums of spring. We got a month until the draft.
Doldrums?
So.
What doldrums? This is dude, this is why we play this game, because
I know.
It's Tuesday night on March 21st, and we're sitting here talking fantasy football, Dynasty specifically fantasy football, with upwards of 400 and something people that are degenerates just like us, because they love this little hobby of ours. So yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out. Can't wait till the season. Yes, I can. Yeah, they're all great. This particular honestly, part of the season is awesome.
I can wait for the season. It's you can catch your breath and actually have fun and talk about Dynasty instead of being the rat race of the week. So yeah, great crowd tonight. Thanks for everyone for coming out. Tons of questions. I hate leaving streams without being able to answer every single question, but it's impossible. So we do what I can, and this includes Shane and I on Twitter every single day are just bombarded with a bunch of questions. And if we don't get back to you, it's not personal. It's literally, we try to get back to everybody that we can, including people that just randomly will message us and don't even follow us, but that's fine. We're here. We love Dynasty.
Indeed we do. All right. See you guys. Have a good night.
Goodbye.